Hey everyone, Greg here with Science Studio and welcome to another review. If you missed our previous review of the LG 29-inch ultra-wide IPS monitor, be sure to check that one out as well. I have the Acer One 10 with me today, and you've probably seen me using it in previous videos. I picked it up on Black Friday, or more like Black Thursday, for only $120. You can pick these up not on sale for around $199, so to be fair, we'll regard the price of this tablet as such, $200. Let's find out just how well it does what it says it does. So disclaimer, there are a lot of Acer One tablets out there. Now apparently Acer's been doing this for quite some time. This model that we'll review is Acer's newest take on the One series, dubbed the 110, the 10 referring to the size of its screen, or maybe the 10th revision of the series, I don't know, maybe both. Starting with the outside, the Acer 110 features a brushed metal appeal, either made of super hard plastic or an aluminum alloy of sorts. It definitely feels premium. The back of the device reveals most of the metalwork, featuring a brushed backplate, the center of which contains the textured Acer logo. To the southwest and east are the integrated stereo speakers. The speakers themselves are very trebly and lack any form of low pass whatsoever. Even voices and videos seem hollow and pitchy. Have a listen for yourself.
Intel does offer laptop-grade chips and chipsets like the Atom Bay-Trail lineup, but these are significantly underpowered and underutilized, and even they get fairly warm.
North of the logo, still on the back of the tablet/laptop hybrid, is a 2.0 megapixel sensor. And in case you were wondering, it's literally written right next to the camera. Both cameras, the one here as well as the one on the front, are also subpar, lacking color depth and an adequate sensor size, obviously. However, both should serve well enough for simple Skype video chats and the occasional selfie. Moving on to the sides of the device, we find nothing at all on the right, but a slew of inputs on the left. Starting from the top, we have a 3.5mm headphone jack, a micro HDMI output port, a micro SD card slot, a micro USB port, and the charging port. The single microphone is also on this side. On the top side are a volume rocker and power button, along with its respective LED, which can turn either orange while charging or blue when finished charging. The front of the device contains the other 2.0 megapixel camera. I should also mention at this point, neither Acer nor Best Buy mention the video capabilities of these two cameras. While they do take video, I'd put them around the 480p mark. If they're 720p capable, they're being a bit shy. The screen covers much of the front, as you might expect, and at 10.1 inches across and in the WXGA 1280 by 800 pixel format, you'll find the screen to be well defined and crisp with 160 pixels per inch. Now, it is only a TFT display, so colors themselves will look a bit washed out, but the lack of vibrancy is made up for by the brightness of the display. Even in direct sunlight, the screen is legible and discernible. It is recessed from the glass above it by a few millimeters, but this is only noticeable from an angle. At an arm's distance away, the screen as a whole will look like it belongs in a pricier computer. Below the TFT is a capacitive Windows icon, which can wake the device and open the start menu. The bottom of the device features two large magnetic inserts for the attachable keyboard, as well as a 9-pin connector for keyboard feedback. The included keyboard is versatile and thin, and features the only full-size USB 2.0 port on the entire device. No USB 3.0 ports exist. Obviously, you'll have to have the keyboard section connected to the screen in order to use it. Transfer rates are average at best. The USB 2.0 is outdated to begin with, but the 9-pin connector seems to slow the transfer rate even further. The keyboard as a whole is actually easy to remove and attach. The magnetic inserts aid in this process, giving a full and satisfying engaged/disengaged feeling every time. The touchpad on the detachable keyboard is smooth, metallic in feel, and responsive for the most part. Occasionally, the computer will fail to detect the keyboard's connection, requiring a quick removal and reinsertion. This is more than likely a software issue rather than a hardware one. Touchpad sensitivity and various gestures can be configured within the OS. Two buttons hiding under the bottom of the touchpad produce right and left click responses, and a 2-finger scroll imitates the scrolling wheel of a typical mouse. The upper portion of the device can be mounted either forward or backward to the keyboard section, and can be closed completely. The tablet's software detects when the keyboard has been removed or attached, and will disable or enable the on-screen keyboard accordingly. Although the upper portion of the computer is the heavier portion, the keyboard does a fairly decent job of keeping the device sitting upright on flat surfaces. Take it to a better couch, however, and the heavier screen often wins the tug of war. A solution in this case would be to angle the screen more vertically, though this obviously has its issues. The keyboard keys are spaced well, and typing is unhindered for the most part. I had no problem swapping for a full-size keyboard to the chiclet keyboard of the Acer, and appreciated the subtle dips in the keys when they were pressed. And in case you were wondering, for a device like this, input lag was not noticeable. So let's work our way to the inside of the tablet portion of the computer. Driving things home is a low-power Intel Atom, are you ready for this? Z3735F. This variant of Intel's Bay Trail lineup features a quad-core 64-bit architecture processor clocked at a speed of 1.33 GHz, with aided help from 2 GB of DDR3 laptop-grade RAM. An important point here is that the Acer 110's processor is 64-bit, but the Windows operating system, Windows 10, is only 32-bit. This compatibility flaw is due in part to the tablet's UEFI restrictions, but in a computer like this, the architecture difference won't be pivotal. The storage capabilities of the 110 are definitely limited in scope. It boasts a 32GB flash memory module, acting more like a solid-state drive, a slow SSD. However, the microSD slot supports up to 64GB cards for additional storage. The Atom processor is no giant in Intel's lineup, but performs surprisingly well under load. It handles multiple web pages flawlessly, produces a mediocre but understandable Geekbench 32-bit score, and uses its low-power demand to aid in prolonged battery life. I was even able to edit and render movies using Movie Maker on this thing. And speaking of battery life, the Acer 110 packs an 8400 mAh lithium polymer rechargeable battery, capable of lasting with moderate use for around 6 to 8 hours on a full charge. I have noticed that the computer will drain itself considerably even while sleeping, so expect to recharge the computer on a daily basis if you're the type of person who simply closes the screen rather than powers off the device entirely after each use. It was definitely something I had to get used to. Background processes within the OS are likely the issue in this case. And by the way, a full charge from 0 to 100% takes roughly 5 hours. Wi-Fi connectivity was satisfactory, picking up solid signals from a considerable distance away, though occasionally the tablet would assume I was connected via Ethernet cable, even though no such connection option exists anywhere on the device. A simple restart fixes the problem in my case. So let's wrap things up. In my opinion, the Acer 110 is aimed at the occasional or light user who wishes only to web browse, type up documents, and take a spin at Minecraft. Don't get your hopes up. Gaming is a struggle on this device, and you can tell that this tablet was definitely not aimed toward the PC gamer. It becomes especially noticeable even in Minecraft that the 2-in-1 relies solely on integrated Intel HD graphics. I find it highly useful in the classroom, however, or in the car, or on a business or leisure trip that doesn't require heavy editing or anything of that sort. This is the ultimate 2-in-1 PC for the average college student, and when paired with a hefty desktop, will fill most any void on the mobile side of a techie's busy schedule. The lack of various USB ports is honestly the only drawback that quickly comes to mind during use. For a price of $200 that is expected to drop within the coming months, the Acer 110 gets a thumbs up from us here in the studio. But what do you think? Let us know in the comments below. Leave a thumbs up if you'd like to see more tech reviews, give us a thumbs down if you thought this video was just straight crap, and let us know what you'd like to see in the future. This is Science Studio. Thanks for learning with us.